The Arizona Cardinals picking up a somewhat surprising 17-15 victory over the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday Night Football to move to 3-4 on the season. And we are going to dive a lot into that here on hour number 2 of the program. And I think the place for us to start is this team did move to 3-4 with the win last night. They are 1 game back of first place in the NFC West. Their schedule over the next 3 weeks has some opportunities for them to win football games. 2 of their next 3 opponents are teams with records worse than theirs. So there is an opportunity for them to make some noise here ahead of a stretch of games against the Seahawks and Vikings to stay relevant in this playoff race, which is what I believe last night's win did, not because they won the football game, but how they won the football game. Yet I found myself even more surprised this morning, logging on to The Athletic, seeing a story about what every team should be at the trade deadline in the NFL this year. And my favorite thing about these stories is it's really easy to read about the Arizona Cardinals because they're always the first team. So you don't have to scroll and try to find where they are in the list. You just story, first couple of blurbs, let me scroll down a little bit. Boom, Arizona Cardinals. Whatever they feel about the Cardinals, I'm going to get right away. I don't have to wait. I don't have to scroll down to the bottom. Like, it's just perfect. So they're right there. And so the question was being, should they be a buyer? Should they be a seller? What should they be? And I was surprised that after winning the game last night, moving to 3-4, being just 1 game out of first place in the NFC West, that Doug Holler, who wrote the blurb for The Athletic about what they should be, said that they should be sellers. That they should trade Budda Baker. That they should sell off of this roster. And I'm sorry, but I can't help but push back against that. Because if you're going to sell now, if you're going to choose to be a seller at 3-4, if you're going to choose to pack it in when you are 1 game out of first place, the Rams might not be anything this season. They've got a lot of injuries. Who knows if Matthew Stafford can stay healthy? Who knows when Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are going to come back for this Rams team? The 49ers just lost Brandon Ayuk for the whole season. George Kittle's banged up. Trent Williams is fighting people on the field. Deebo Samuel's got pneumonia. Nothing is guaranteed for any of the teams in the NFC West. What is guaranteed is that the Arizona Cardinals are 3-4 and 1 game out of first place. And so if you are going to send the signal to your fan base while you are second place in the NFC West, and not just a second place by proxy, not just a second place by happenstance, you're in second place because you beat the 49ers, so you have the head-to-head tiebreaker, and you've already beaten the Rams, who are what, 2-4? So you are 1 game back of first place in the NFC West, and you've already won 2 games in the division with still 4 to go. You haven't played the Seahawks yet. You still have a game against the 49ers. You have another one against the Rams. How can you possibly wave the white flag and end this season 7 games in and entertaining calls and making trades? Now, that's not to say that you need to be an all-out buyer. Everybody knows the stance of this program. Go and get a pass rusher. Call up the Browns about Myles Garrett. Call up the Raiders about Max Crosby. See if those teams will part with those players and what the price tag would have to be. You need to do your due diligence. That is the firm position of this show, of the lunch break, of how we feel this Cardinals team should operate. But if you don't do that, as long as you don't sell, I'm not going to go after you too hard. I'm not going to get on Monty Ossenfort and the Cardinals too much if they just wanted to stand pat, get healthy, and ride this out and see what they're able to do this year. How would you feel if the Cardinals decided right now to completely sell and trade players? You got a team that's 3-4. You have signed up for Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenfort to take over this team. This is year 2 of that process. Year 1, you knew there were going to be some bumps. So you accepted that as a fan. We accepted that we were going to watch a team that was in need of a full retool, a full rebuild. They had the quarterback. They believed in the quarterback. They had the draft capital to be able to quickly add talent, but there was a lot of talent that needed to be added to this team. So you knew the first year was going to be rough. You knew the first year was going to be ugly at times. You knew the first year you were going to take your lumps. It wasn't going to be pretty, but you could see the forest through the trees. You could see what the organization was trying to do. And so you accept it. It's easy to accept the plan and accept the negatives of a plan when you believe in the plan and you believe in the people that are laying out the plan and believe in the people that are executing the plan. If you didn't believe in Monty Ossenfort, if you didn't believe in Jonathan Gannon, you would get on them with how last year went. But you believed in the plan. You believed in an offseason where they were going to spend some money. You believed in an offseason where they had the draft capital. So, okay, great. 2023 stunk. It was bad. It was ugly at times. You didn't have Kyler for half the year. It was not good. Okay, but you accepted that. That's okay. I understand why 2023 is going to be the way 2023 is. New head coach, new GM, quarterback coming off of an injury, got to install a new culture, got to install a new methodology to both defense and offense. That takes time. That takes reps. There are games that these players have to play together before it all gels. Okay, I'm going to give you a year. I'm going to give you 2023. But part of giving this organization not a mulligan, but giving them the pass on what was a bad year in 2023 is because 2024 is supposed to bear fruit of we're moving in the right direction. Now, I think Monday's win does a lot for that path. But turning around and over the next couple of weeks, now results change that. If they lose the next 2 weeks and they're 3-6 and they look bad, they start to fall out of place in the division, all right, then maybe you can start to entertain the idea of selling. But I don't know how on a Tuesday, October 22nd, entering a game against Miami that the Cardinals have a chance to win on Sunday, you can consider this team a seller. I don't know how that is the case. Because as a fan base, you accepted 2023 for 2024 to trend in the right direction. And if 7 weeks in, you're going to give up on what is a path to being relevant late in the season and potentially making noise in the the NFC playoff race, what message is that sending to the fan base? If you're the organization, you wouldn't like that. You wouldn't you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't know why they would be giving up on a year that, while record-wise isn't all that great right now, they've got a chance. So you've got to let it play out. Again, it doesn't mean you have to go wild and trade your entire draft capital to bring in a bunch of players, but let it play out, perhaps. See it through. And that is where I have a disconnect with this story and where I have a disconnect with what Doug Holler wrote about the Cardinals being sellers. Here is the blurb that Holler put together about the Cardinals. The best thing the inconsistent Cardinals have going for them is the NFC West, a division in which no team has taken control. That is where this team is right now. They are in the mix. He goes on. A team with potential should buy, but that's not the Cardinals, not this season. And that means one thing: trade Budda Baker. Oh. Now, there's a difference there between being a buyer and being a full-blown seller and selling the top player on your defense. There's a difference between those two things. Again, the position of this show is there's a pass rush option available to this team. They should go out and push those chips in to get a player that helps them now, but also they sign to a long-term deal and helps them down the road. And he goes on to say, but entering Monday's game against the Cardinals have not looked like a team that was ready to contend. That means making tough decisions. Moving Baker won't be popular amongst fans, but it might be the organization's best move. If this team was 2-5, if this team was 1-6, we can have that conversation. I don't think you can send the message to the fan base of trading Budda Baker and admitting we are sellers. We are not competing. We don't plan on playing meaningful games in December. We don't plan on seeing this through. I don't think that is a message you can send. Because again, you accept what happened in 2023. I don't think you can accept willfully giving up with the way this season has gone. You don't have to buy, but you need to stay the course and see this through. Because what if they beat the Dolphins on Sunday and they move to 4-4? Is trading Budda Baker the right thing then? If they beat the Jets, if they go 2-1 in this stretch and they beat the two teams that have a worse record than they do in the Dolphins and the Jets, and they're 5-5, they're in the mix. They are in the mix. Is it pretty? No, but they're in the mix. And with the way the division stands right now, with the tiebreakers they have with the two teams behind them, playing two games with the team in front of them, who have not been super inspiring at 4-3, I think you have to see this through. And that's what a win last night did. I think it puts the belief back into this organization that they can reach the expectation of playing meaningful football in December. So I would hate to see them give up on that potential after what they had just done last night. That to me would make no sense. So again, shocked that the Cardinals won last night. Did not pick them to win. Even more shocked that they are listed as sellers after winning that game last night and being one game out of first place in the NFC West with two games against that team, where one win automatically puts you in front. You beat the Seahawks, you're 4-4, they're 4-4, boom, you flip because you now have beaten everybody in the division. You just have to see that through. You have to allow the process to play out. You don't have to full-blown buy, but you cannot sell right now. Not at 3-4, not after with the way this team pulled out a gritty win last night at home on Monday Night Football.